Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it is Ray Walker. Today marks the 13th day of my recovery against cancer. I know some of you were wondering, and some of you guys messaged me like, was I okay? Why wasn't I posting? Um, I was basically down with all the side effects the moment chemo started, and I'm now officially done with the first cycle of my chemotherapy treatment. Um, if all things goes well, I would have another 5 more cycles. So for now, I'm not too sure when is the next cycle going to start, but I'm just glad the first cycle is over, and I'm going to explain what were the side effects I actually experienced throughout the chemotherapy treatment and post-chemotherapy treatment. So to begin with, the chemotherapy treatment had um, 1 bag of immunotherapy and 4 bags of chemo bags, and 1 bag of, I can't exactly remember what bag was it, but total they had 6 bags pumping through me throughout the course of something like 100 hours or more, yeah, around there. So um, the immunotherapy was pretty fine. I didn't experience any major side effects. The first bag of chemo also went relatively fine. It was the second bag of chemo when I started that I experienced the first major side effect, which was basically bloating. Um, by third bag, I was so each bag of chemo, so 4 bags, each bag will be plugged in, and they will flow it into my body over the course of 24 hours each bag. And in between each bag, they'll give you a 1 hour break to basically take a bath, because throughout the whole 24 hours, the machine has to be plugged in um, into my port on this side. So it has to be plugged in, and I can't really do much. So I was basically just bound to the bed, probably like, not probably, it's like the whole duration of the chemotherapy treatment, except for the 1 hour where I get to bath. So yep, that was quite a painful process. So the second bag, the side effect I had was bloating, and this bloating lasted throughout the whole duration of the chemo itself. So from the second bag onwards, it just got second bag onwards, I just started getting bloating, and by the time the third bag started, it's so bad that I could barely even eat solid food anymore, because eating was just too painful for this stomach already. And but thank I mean thank God I have very supportive parents, and they actually brought me clear soup. So my third and fourth bag, I was basically on clear soup, uh, and basically plain rice for most part, and that itself also was a pain. Drinking liquids, eating solid foods was probably almost a no-go anymore. Yeah, so um, I was just trying to slip off most of the bloating as much as I can, but according to the doctor, this bloating is due to the steroids that they use to counteract the chemo that I was receiving. So every time I would do chemo, I apparently have to use steroids, and this bloating sensation is one of the side effects of these steroids. So he actually told me to kind of like learn how to get used to it, because well, you have 5 cycles, so every time you go, each cycle is going to be I would think it's roughly the same thing. So hopefully the next cycle, I'm more prepared, and also kind of like yeah, more prepared, and hopefully I get used to it by the time second cycle ends. Yeah, but the bloating is very so bad. So the good news is I was supposed to kind of get discharged on the 5th October, but because they started my chemotherapy treatment earlier, so I was actually able to discharge on my birthday itself, which was the 3rd. So um, thanks all for the birthday wishes that I got. I may not be able to reply like one by one because I was still experiencing side effects at the time, but I really appreciate it, and also those who actually send gifts, really thank you. I I mean, I'm already 30 and I didn't expect gifts at this age, but I did somehow. So really thank you. The nurses also were very at the hospital also. They kind of celebrated my discharge before I left. So it was quite sweet of them. Seven, eight of them came. So yeah, I mean, the doctor was really nice enough to let me go back home. So I came back home, and on the 3rd itself, when I came back home, that was kind of when the next side effect started. So the bloating didn't wear off yet, but it just reduced. But towards the end of the night, when I came home, uh, the first kind of it was something like afternoon tea kind of meal. So when I had my afternoon tea meal, I kind of noticed that my mouth started having this some sort of like a hypersensitivity kind of thing. But I didn't know that it was a side effect until very much later because I thought it was a one-time off thing, and that was during the afternoon tea and during dinner. So I took a nap when I got home, then dinner. So dinner kind of that was the next problem that we had. So I actually vomited during dinner itself. So I took one bite and then I just started vomiting everything out like throughout the whole day. So my stomach was practically empty at the time, and I was just in a full body pain because the vomiting was so bad. But after resting for a bit, then I pursued to continue having dinner because um, I can kind of understand why people after chemo they kind of just give up because vomiting is quite apparently is one of the number one reasons why people give up chemo. And because once you vomit, you don't really want to eat back, so you're kind of not getting really the nutrients that you need. But I just kind of just forced myself to eat something regardless. So I ate and I developed fever, and on the night itself I also developed fever. So um, the fever wasn't that bad. It was just a bit of cold, shivering, and things like that. So that was the 3rd. I mean, I could have gone to the ER, but um, no way in no way in hell I'm going back into the hospital without a fight. So I just pushed through the night. So kind of 4th October came, and then I kind of started developing some new side effects actually. Um, the bloating was kind of gone. Um, I would say is yeah, it just kind of just gone the next day. But the new side effect that I started having was the hypersensitivity in my mouth. So I was just learning that new side effect. I knew I had it the day before, but I didn't really thought much about it until the next day. So that was really something new, and it just kind of just progressively got worse. The sensitivity in my mouth, and I mean at this rate it's already at my throat also. So yeah, it just progressively got worse starting from the next day itself, and I started developing fever very pretty constantly. So 4th October was an issue of fever. Um, I had fever throughout the whole day, which did not subside. So it only managed to subside towards the end of the night because one of the things that I had to do was to inject an immunity booster every day when I'm home. So after the injection of the immunity booster at night, then my fever eventually subsided, and that was 4th October. So I was just having fever the whole day, shivering here a bit and there, and yeah, that was what happened on 4th. So pretty much subsequent days, nothing much, um, nothing much was added. Yes, I'm glad the side effects, there were no new ones, except the constant fever and the hypersensitivity in my mouth, which just progressively got worse. So um, at this rate, I can't I can't even swallow without pain. I can't even drink water without pain. Neither can I eat without pain. Sometimes, occasionally, when I talk, although it's rare, but it might also develop some form of pain as well. So, uh, yeah, and I also kind of lost appetite, I guess, because food swallowing is just a pain, and food no longer used to taste the same as before. I would think that um, I also lost my sense of taste. Yeah, it's not to the extent that I can't exactly taste anything, but it's probably reduced by a good 90% close to 100%. Yeah, so that's also one of the side effects that just progressively happened as my hypersensitivity got worse. Yeah, so as it just got worse, and then my sense of taste just also just went with it. So now food kind of tastes just bland, and I'm also in pain anyway, so doesn't really matter much. But I'm eating. So um, for me, if for me, I think the lesson here is that eating is something that I think nobody can really force. I mean, if I'm just too in pain, I'm not going to eat. But eating is something that I really need to have. If I'm not going to eat, then I don't think this world anyone can really save me anymore. I need to save myself first. So um, no matter how painful it is, how bland it is, I will still eat regardless. Even if I have to puke multiple times, I will still eat. That was the promise I told myself. So, because only by eating you can actually recover. So if I'm not going to eat, then really no one in the world can help me. So that's why um, that's kind of the lesson learned. Yeah. So these are kind of all the side effects that I had, and yeah, muscle cramps I think is quite common because I was bound to the bed for like 100 over hours. So initially I had to use a walking stick, and occasionally every 1 or 2 steps I will have cramps as well on my leg. But it's much better now. I can actually walk up and down the staircase like finally ever since yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So that's a good thing, I guess, because walking with a walking stick is actually significantly troublesome. So yeah, but other than that, not much new side effects popped out yet. Hopefully, yeah. There's also another side effect of chemo is that um, my whole body is full of acne. There's a full, more like a top body acne outbreak. Yeah, but I wouldn't really count that as a side effect. I would just think that, well, small price to pay, I guess. Yeah, but yeah. So the chemo pot is actually the bandage is already removed. If you guys are actually interested, I can just show you. This is actually how it looks like. Yeah, so this is actually the chemo port. There's actually a piece of wire here. I think it's kind of non-visible, but it's actually a piece of wire there, and here's the chemo port itself. Of course, the wound has the cut is the where they cut my skin hasn't actually healed fully, but you can see it's actually under and it's actually bruised because, well, surgery, right? So it's bruised, but well, it will heal over time, I guess. I hope. I mean, it's it's no longer painful now, but yeah, I have to wait for it to fully heal in order to actually be able to touch water. But yeah, it's healing. So as for the acne outbreak, it's so bad that yeah, it's basically the whole body. I don't know if you guys can see, but yeah, it's everywhere. So yeah, that's kind of the side effects, but I think that's one of the smaller ones that I don't really care about because it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not a model, not a runway model, so it's fine. Yeah. So that kind of sums up all the side effects that I had by far, I would say. And yeah, so today was also my checkout day. My first checkup after my first cycle, and things looks to be going according to plan. I mean, doctor said that everything is according to plan because he expected that my white blood cell counts and all will drop because that's quite to be expected. But the today until the following coming Wednesday is where I have the highest risk of infection as well, because this is the period of time where my immunity will just keep dropping all the way down, and by Wednesday it should be starting to go back up. Yeah, thanks to the immunity booster. So the immunity booster is the one that is um, keeping my immunity from not going all the way down to zero. But yeah, it is according to my blood report today, it is according to what a normal chemo patient would go through. Yeah, so I think that's kind of good news. Hopefully by Wednesday, Wednesday is my second checkup, so hopefully by Wednesday there's some good news and I can actually um, know when is my next chemo cycle, because as of now I do not know when is the date, because well they still have to see whether I'm responding according to plan. But as of today, well, good news I guess. So um, yeah, I have quite a number of stories to share, from the hospital. It's quite saddening, but it's for another video. If you guys kind of like what to see, if you guys want know someone who's going to go through chemo and doesn't know the full extent of what side effects, um, I tried my best to list it chronologically as best as possible. Yeah, but if you know someone who needs to know what's to expect, yeah, feel free to share with them. If you like what you see, also just subscribe, I guess, like and subscribe. Then I'll see you guys in the videos to come. Bye.